In this video, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know to get amazing photos using off-camera flash. So to start, you'll need two things. First, you'll need a camera that has the ability to shoot in manual mode. And then secondly, you'll need a camera that has a hot shoot and has hot shoot capabilities. So you may have seen, or you may know that obviously you can use on-camera flash. Some cameras have it built into the camera, or you can use an actual on-camera flash unit where you can hook your off-camera flash unit directly to your camera and then set your flash settings and then shoot and capture that flash with your camera. Now, obviously, if we're shooting off-camera flash, the idea is you take it off the flash, you put it somewhere else, and then you can shoot from one direction and the flash can come from a different direction, giving you the ability to control how you shape your images. Now, when it comes to off-camera flash devices, there are a few different types. Here, I've got a number, right? I've got speed lights. Speed lights are small, compact lights, usually with a lot less power than you'll see in some of your strobes. You also have strobes. So this is a portable strobe with a rechargeable battery. What's awesome about these is it has a model light installed, so you can actually have a light and it has a strobe. But in order to communicate with either your strobe or your speed light, you'll need some kind of transmitter or radio, which I don't have. So you need some kind of radio transmitter that can transmit either wirelessly or wired to a strobe or one of your studio lights in your setup. And so this will go onto your hot shoe. Now, what's awesome about that is now this communicates with the strobe in order to take a photo at the same time the flash goes off. When you're thinking about going into off-camera flash, the first thing you need to consider is how you're gonna be using off-camera flash, right? So I personally do more of a hybrid structure where I take my portable strobes and I'll take them on location and shoot, but then I also shoot in studio as well. And I've got my studio lights. You may have seen these in some of my videos that I've done in the past, but I've got studio lights that are just for in the studio. So there's a few things that you need to consider when you're deciding which off-camera flash system you want to go with. So when I started initially, I just bought the cheapest one and I was like, I'll just use this. It was like a Yongnuo speed light. This is Godox. It was like a Yongnuo speed light because I wasn't thinking that I would need to like expand into like other, like actually shooting in the studio. When I first started, I was just like, I need off-camera flash. And so I had a little speed light that I put on top of my camera. And then when I decided to get off-camera flash, I bought this guy, which is newer Vision 5. The problem with that was that they didn't sync together. So I had a speed light from one company, I had a strobe from a different company, and they didn't communicate. Now, if I could go back, I would have just, even what I do now, I use the Godox system. I have like the Godox 8400 Pro, I have the Godox DP403, I have the Godox Speedlight. And what's awesome is they all communicate directly with my one transmitter. And so when you start thinking about, okay, I'm gonna get into off-camera flash, it's important to consider how you wanna build it out, right? And you may wanna invest in a system that can all communicate together because then you can go from one light to eventually two lights to maybe 3 or 4 lights, if you're shooting in the studio. Keep that in mind. But otherwise, if you're just getting started, I would say get something cheap. If you don't know that you're gonna stick with off-camera flash, you may not wanna spend too much money investing in that specific part. The last thing I want to talk to you about before we go out and shoot are light modifiers. There are a number of different light modifiers that you can use when you're shooting with off-camera flash, and it's important to make sure that the ones that you are getting are going to get the results that you want. And so there are a few key ones that I use pretty consistently. This is a 16-inch beauty dish. It's got a silver coating for high contrast, but what's awesome, let me show you how this works. It hooks up to your strobe through the Bowens mount adapter, and this is a very consistent adapter. Pretty much all of my attachments that aren't umbrellas all use the Bowens mount adapter because that's what all of my strobes use. And you can connect this pretty easily to your strobe. And so what you have here is the light behind this little reflector that reflects the light back into this dish, which then reflects that out, giving you some consistent lighting. Now you can always diffuse that. I have this diffuser sock. This is very difficult to do sitting down, but this can offer a little bit more diffusion for your images, right? That light that's reflected back is now diffused through this sock, giving you a little bit more softer light. You can also attach this reflector dish. This is a little different because it's more of a direct light. So if you want more of a direct light look, that's what this will give you. The light pretty much all bounces in here and goes out giving you some really solid contrast with this bad boy. And then when you're using off-camera flash, if you are shooting outside, it's important to have a light stand that is heavy enough to support the strobe and the modifier that you're using. Keep in mind, if it's really windy, you will want to have some kind of sandbag to hold it down. Anyway, let me go outside. I will show you how to use off-camera flash and how to get some of these portraits. So the first thing you're gonna need when you're shooting with off-camera flash is going to be a few things, right? You need a off-camera flash system, so a flash system. I'm using the 8400 Pro here. I'm also using the 34-inch beauty dish with double diffusion, so it's got two white panels in here that diffuse the light that's coming out of it. I've also got a pretty solid C-stand. As you can see, I'm using Sierra's bag because I did not bring my sandbag and it's pretty windy today. But I recommend using a C-stand. It's a lot more work to get this thing out, but it's heavier, so it shouldn't be affected by the wind as much as a lighter light stand. But that's all you need, right? You need your flash system, modifier, and now that I'm hooked up, I'm going to first set my ambient light at what I need my ambient light to be. And basically, as you guys can see in my settings here, I've got it set at about 1/2000th of a second. You can always play with that and then balance this with the amount of power that you're using in your flash unit. But I'm gonna set it pretty low because I want a really dramatic look here. All right, so let's go all the way up, and I want some of those clouds in the shot there. As you guys can see, we've got the clouds behind her, and we can still see the colors in the grass and everything like that. But she's got that beautiful rim light hitting her hair right behind her. I'm gonna attach my flash unit here, and I'm gonna start at about 1/8 power. Let's start with 1/8 power and take a shot and see what it looks like. Gorgeous, that is beautiful. All right, so 1/8 power is pretty good. It's a little darker than I like, so let me go up to 1/2 power and see what that looks like. That is fantastic. I think we found it. Now we could potentially balance this a little bit by decreasing even more our shutter speed and raising our flash power to get more detail in the clouds. Let me see. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna raise my shutter speed to 1/4000th of a second. I'm gonna increase my power on my flash unit to one power, full power. And there you go. Now you can see even more detail in the clouds than you could before. And it's just got that. Here, I'm gonna readjust, recompose. Sierra, give me your best face. What you got? Let me see your face. Let's see it. Let's see it. Beautiful. Fantastic. And you guys can always play with the lighting and move it around to give it a different look. But I think this looks fantastic. Now, if we wanted to have a little less of a dramatic look, we could also lower our shutter speed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my transmitter off of my camera, and I'm gonna drop the shutter speed a little bit more. So now, as you can see, there's more ambient light around, and so we should be able to use a lot less power on our flash unit. So I think this is about pretty good. I'm gonna add my flash unit back to my camera. And you guys may be wondering why I'm taking it off instead of just turning it on and off, is because if you got something on the hot shoe, especially a flash unit, sometimes the camera just wants to show me what it wants. So I take it off to take away all that confusion. Anyway, I'm at 1/64th power. I'm gonna take a shot. I'm gonna turn it up to 1/16th power. Oh, that's so bright. I don't like that. Do you guys like that? No, nope. All right, 1/4 power. That's good. Actually, I'm gonna have to drop the shutter speed down a little bit more, 1/2000. Yeah, that's perfect. That's good. There we go. All right, hit a few poses for us. Hit a few poses for the people, man. Let's see what you got, Sierra. Let's go. Fantastic. That's it. Beautiful. Great. You shoot with off-camera flash.
Remember to smash that like button.
There are
Remember to like and subscribe if you want more content.
Oh my gosh, let's go. I love that. And
Wait, no.